ESO Personalised, proud sponsor of the Impacted podcast. Why not visit their website on www.esopersonalised.co.uk. Your brand is our business.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Impacted. I am your host, Bison, and again today I have my co-host with me coming into us from the void.
Talking through the empty space, it's the JOE-KER.
Bud, you right?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all, not bad at all. I'm still coronavirus free, so thank you very much for that, God. I really appreciate it. How about yourself? Joe? You free of the corona?
Oh yeah, free of that. Bit battered and bruised, battered elsewhere, but I'm all right. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. You look well. So this week's episode was voted by you, the impacted TNI listeners. So the impactors, as we've been starting to call you guys over the last few episodes. So the impactors have voted via the TNI Twitter page on who they wanted us to discuss this week, and who was the overall winner in the end, Joe.
The winner was Big Michael Elgin.
The Unbreakable one, right?
The Unbreakable, Unstoppable.
Unstoppable, Unbreakable, Unmovable, the incredible Michael Elgin. Now, I think that was enough. That's definitely enough of an intro. Definitely, there's enough uns in there for everybody. Enough uns for everyone.
Enough meditation.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
No, you're like Matt side down. I'll be careful.
Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so this one was voted by you guys. So we're really pleased. We are gonna cover Falaba at a later date, but this particular week, you guys have voted for us to talk about the Big Michael Elgin, and we're really pleased to do that. This is one of the guys we have spoke about covering on a couple of occasions. The guy's a bit of a beast, a bit of an animal, 5-star wrestling machine. I can't think of any other way to describe him, really. Bit of a badass. Don't you agree, Joe?
Let's compare him to Ace Austin. Since he's come in, he's just improved and improved and improved, and it's blown me away how quickly he's impressed me. I'm not saying I wasn't impressed when he come in, but again, like Sammy Callahan, like Ace Austin, like the North, someone I'd hardly even heard of, but when he came in, there was something about him that was, this guy's going to do something really, really incredible, and he made his mark straight away. He was another great signing by Impact.
Oh, without doubt. So without further ado, I'm just going to quickly explain the format of Impacted. So Impacted, if you've not tuned into us before, basically we're a show that specialises in talking about the characters, the roster, the wrestlers, the characters of Impact Wrestling. We're both big Impact Wrestling fans. It's our weekly go-to show. We love talking about the characters in depth. And hopefully you guys enjoy us talking about them too. Recapping over their past careers very briefly, stuff which is pre-Impact, but we talk about the past Impact. We talk about all the way up to the present, and we talk about where we think they're going to go in the future, what they're going to achieve. Michael has only been with Impact a short amount of time. So, buddy, here's a 16-year veteran of the business. Did you know that, Joe?
No, again, he's another great pedigree of Canadian wrestling.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, you can certainly add into the list, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, facts and stats. Here we go. Michael Elgin was born in Oshawa, Canada in 1986. That makes him 33 years old. He's 5'11" He's 250 pounds of pure muscle. He was trained by Dyson Ducks, Rob Hugo, and John E. Legend. And his debut as a full professional wrestler was 2014 at the age of 18. Now, prior to that, he was also a regular on a lot of the local circuits from about the age of 14. Now, I'm pretty sure that some of the reasons why he didn't end up debuting was obviously due to age restrictions, etc. But I know that from the age of 14, he was doing some stuff with local promotions, etc. And was already starting to impress, all of the local fans. Now, when it comes to promotions, he has worked for quite a lot. So basically, we've got in there. I'm just going to run down all the different promotions that he has worked for. Obviously, we've got CMLL, PWG, GCW, AAW, where he was I believe he was the four. I think he won. What they call it, like the Triple Crown or something like that. He was the fourth ever Triple Crown winner in AAA. Obviously, we got MLW, MPD, BCW, Alpha One, CZW, WLW. I'd not even heard of those ones. But we've also got more later in his career. We've got Ring of Honor. Obviously, he took the trip over to Japan. He also spent some time in Mexico with the Crash promotion. Now, I think is that Conan? I think Conan used to run the Crash, I believe, or something like that. I think that's Conan's promotion, possibly.
I think it is. I know Falabar had come up from there. So if Conan was running it, then it was probably one of the reasons why Jeff Jarrett and that tried to partner with it, or did partner with it.
No, definitely. He also spent some time with Pro Wrestling Noah, but that was after, of course, he joined Impact Wrestling. So, because obviously Noah being an Impact partner, I think allowed Michael to go over and spend a couple of months with Pro Wrestling Noah, which I think they greatly appreciated, because potentially that's a New Japan Pro Wrestling mainstay, going in and performing in Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. So I think that was a pretty cool thing for Impact to do, was to allow Michael to go over there and perform with them. That was also obviously Eddie Edwards, we know, also got over and did his time over there.
Eddie's got a good history there, so I think Michael Elgin going over there was a great choice. Yeah,
without doubt, and of course, basing on what's going on recently, more recent with the feud with Michael and Eddie, which we'll get onto later. I think you can see that the work that they did in Japan, that strong style of performing, is definitely evident that they've been and done that properly in Japan. It's very evident in their showings of late. Now, I looked. I decided. I thought, let's go and check out how many titles this guy's won. And I have to be honest. I'd be here all day. We could probably actually, do a good 10-minute stint just running down every single championship that Michael's won over the 16 years. Multiple championships in multiple promotions, whether it be televised products or big promotions like New Japan, Ring of Honor, even the Crash, etc. Slightly bigger promotions. The guy has basically won gold in every single promotion that he has wrestled for. I couldn't find any that he hadn't won something, whether it be a tag team, a mid card, whatever. He's held heavyweight titles. He's held aerial titles, which I find amazing. But zero gravity titles and all this kind of stuff. But the guy basically is gold. Let's face the facts. He's gold, right? So wherever he goes, he wins it. He's gold.
Yeah, you can see why he's coming to Impact. It's like he said, he did New Japan. He was there waiting for ages for an opportunity, and eventually just thought, it's not worth waiting anymore. I want something. I'm going to get something, and
do you know what?
This is where he's going.
Do you know what I think happened there? He saw that people like Chris Jericho could just come in from nowhere, and I know you're a big Chris Jericho fan.
Yeah.
that Chris Jericho could come in from nowhere and just win a title.
Yeah,
Without-
I can see that too.
Without without putting in the time, without putting in the work, without even necessarily deserving it. He just literally came in, did a bit of promotion, and boom, he's won a title.
Yeah.
And I think
he got the Intercontinental title from Okada, I think it was, or something.
yeah, and I think that becomes. I think eventually that becomes a little bit frustrating. You know, when you've worked your backside off for years and years, and you're sort of kind of almost being overlooked. I mean, I don't know whether I think he did. I'd have to go back through my notes. I think he did win some sort of title in New Japan, but it might have been a tag title possibly. I can't remember. But bottom line is that he wanted a singles title run. You know, it didn't. I don't think it mattered what it was. He would just love to have had a singles title run. He was desperate for a world championship run, that kind of thing. And I think he knew it was coming. It was probably going to come. But I think it was just a case of, I sort of kind of had enough. I'm spending all my time over here. I'm seeing people like Jericho come in. I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong. It's just a speculation. And actually, Michael, if you listen, I would actually love to know, what the real reasons for you to, decide to leave New Japan and come over to Impact Wrestling were. I know that obviously, I think you've said it a few times, but I would really love to know exactly what was the actual moment that you went, you know what, I'm going to go to Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Mike, we know you listen to the guys. We know you listen to Trent and J-Bone and that. So a bit of clarification for us would be great. Nice to get our facts straight and everything.
It would be nice to make sure that we are sort of kind of like giving out the right information. But I mean, at the end of the day, the guy who put the work in. He's a 16-year veteran. He's clearly been around. He's done the groundwork. He's worked the amount of indies he's worked is just incredible, all over the place. And like I said, so many championships that he's won is just ridiculous. I think it's inevitable that at some point Michael Elgin is going to carry a strap on Impact Wrestling.
Definitely. Looking at his track record, you can't argue that he deserves it. People were a bit iffy when he come in that he's going to be like Johnny Impact and jump straight on the bandwagon for the world title. But
no, he didn't.
You look at his track record and you can see why Impact wanted him in.
Well, like you say, the guy is 245 pounds of pure beef. The guy, he's a walking wrestling animal. And, he's exactly the type of guy that you want walking around with a strap on him, isn't it, really? Let's face the fact. It doesn't matter what strap, just get a strap on the guy. How good is he going to look in photographs, in promos? How good is this going to look on promotional posters? Let's face the facts. The guy works hard on his physique. He works hard on his in-ring, his in-ring work, and he tells a story. He's got that kind of he's got modern moves, but kind of he's got that old school mentality of telling a story where every time he wrestles, there's always that slight build. That sussing each other out.
Yeah.
We then sort of get going with a bit of grappling, and all that. You get a bit of a bit of strong arm stuff going on, and then it sort of kind of gradually speeds up, and then all of a sudden you get this, almighty, incredible, 10, 15 minutes of just badass wrestling, don't you?
Yeah. I like the way he presents himself in the ring. I like that he does go for the old school build. Because you don't see that much. Eddie Edwards and Josh Alexander, another two examples who do it pretty well as well, and Sami Callihan. They're guys that look back at the past and seeing what has worked, and that they're mixing it in with modern moves, with more modern type smash mouth style that we used to have.
Yeah,
and it works. It shows that it's not a dead art.
No, without doubt. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about his Impact run, which is obviously what we're here to discuss more of. So, he joined Impact in around about May 2019. Funny enough, at the Rebellion pay-per-view, which unfortunately we're not going to see anytime soon. I've been reading rumours that they might be doing some kind of closed arena thing, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But as it stands, as a pay-per-view, we're not going to get to see Rebellion this year. But obviously, he came in confronting Brian Cage, who obviously was the champion at the time. And then, obviously, attacking him, right after his title win with who did he take it? Who did he take it off? I can't remember now.
Johnny Impact.
Johnny Impact, yeah. So obviously his win over Johnny Impact. He comes in, confronts him, attacks him straight after the match, which is a little bit underhanded. But at the end of the day, he's making a point, that's for sure. And he's making it very, very clear the reason that he's come to Impact. He's after that world title, right?
It was like Taya Valkyrie coming and attacking Rosemary. She wanted to go. Rosemary wasn't the champion, but she wanted to go for the best in the roster. And Michael Elgin just did exactly the same. And that sent Brian Cage to the hospital. Although people debate whether it was that Spanish fly that Johnny Impact did to Brian Cage, because that was fantastic. That Spanish fly into the ramp, that sadly went a bit wrong, and damaged Brian Cage's spine. But that and the power bomb from Michael Elgin, I've seen a few power bombs in my time, and he delivered it with such force. The whole ring bounced, and I just thought, oh, Christ, this is going to do some serious damage to Cage.
Yeah, I think probably the initial Johnny Impact move was probably where the initial issue occurred. If I remember right, the match sort of kind of slowed down a little bit after that. And then obviously we had the power bomb from Elgin, which just probably cemented the injury, I would imagine. I mean, fair play to Brian. I mean, obviously, when Michael came in, I'm pretty sure he said, "Look, do it, but my back is fucked." So just sort of, try and pull back a little bit. I think it was. It was. Put it this way, it was a hell of an impact when the big man made his appearance for the first time at Rebellion. We certainly knew that Big Mike had arrived, didn't we?
Oh, but definitely. I think you've pretty much took the words out of my mouth. It was a big impact, full pun intended, and he just came in, made a statement, and that's what you really need to know about Michael Elgin. He's just there to make a statement,
and he did it there and then. That was it. Now, to just sort of kind of move things on a little bit, he then went on to end up defeating Johnny Impact and Pentagon Jr. In a three-way to determine the number one contender match. Now, do you remember the match? That was a bloody good match. That was a really good match. I remember being on the edge of my seat for that one.
Oh, you were at the New York tapings, weren't you?
Yeah.
When it was on, yeah. Oh, no.
That wasn't there, my friend. What I saw at New York tapings was Michael and Eddie. That was incredible. But going back to the three-way, Johnny Impact, Pentagon Jr., one hell of a match. Michael came in. He basically beasted everybody in the ring, beat everybody up. I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone got their offense in and everything else, but bottom line is Michael left that match leaving everyone in no doubt that he was one hell of a beast and he could defeat anybody. And I think that was exactly what that match was all about, was to then build Michael into this absolute beast. To then obviously eventually take on to take on Brian for the world title. Now, before that happened, Elgin then had another match with Rich Swann. Now, he lost to a DQ, because Elgin beat Swan down outside the ring. So basically, I think this match was all about showcasing Michael a bit more to make him look obviously more of a heel.
Yeah.
Because it's heels that do beatdowns outside the ring, obviously. So we had to make him look like a heel. But at the time, they didn't want to make Rich look weak. So I think it was probably a right result. It was the right person probably to put him in against and to get a DQ against as well, because the bottom line is you don't want to make Rich look weak, but you need to make Elgin look strong, and you also make him look like a heel, real heel. You know, and I think they did that really, really well in that match. Do you think?
Yeah. Like you said, you want to make him look strong, and you know, you can see that it shows that Michael Elgin, he has that temperament where if he's not going to win the match, he's not going to take the fall. He'll just beat the crap out of someone until the match is over.
Yeah, and, exactly.
He finishes strong regardless.
Yeah. Well, without that, it doesn't matter what he's doing. At the end of the day, he's going to walk out of there having beat the shit out of somebody, and that's effectively what the big man does. Just beats the shit out of everybody that comes against him. I mean, he's powerful, he's strong. You know, the guy can move fast. He can accurate fly in everything he does. He can fly. He has pretty much every single wrestling aspect to his arsenal, which means that, you know, it doesn't matter who he goes against. Like I said, if he goes against a big man like Rich Swann, or he goes in against, like Brian Cage, or he's going in against, or even like Madman Fulton or someone like that, you know, big dude, it doesn't make any difference. If he's going in against a Rich Swann, it doesn't matter. He can adapt. You know, he can adapt and he can fight whoever it is that's put in front of him, and they will basically bend to his will. And I think that's kind of, you know, one of the most important things. He can wrestle pretty much anybody that you put him in the ring with, and I think that's important. And while all of this was going on, we also had his short and sweet promos, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot of people find his promos a bit dull. To me, he was like, it reminded me of Chris Benoit. He wasn't about talking; he was about going out in the ring and getting it done out there. And that's exactly what Michael Elgin did. Whether win or lose, he goes out there and he makes a point. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, his in-ring storytelling, in-ring storytelling, whether it's to build up a win or to build up a loss, or to build up him just snapping and getting himself disqualified, that's where it matters for Michael Elgin. He's a wrestling machine, and that's all he needs to put across. Yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt. I think his promos generally are sort of kind of like to the point. There's no sort of kind of there's no real middle ground. There's no fluttering around it. There's no sticking in any fancy gimmicks or anything like that. The bottom line is the man's there to beat your ass, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. So his promos, I think, are designed to be more intimidating rather than necessarily, show that he's confident and his own ability in it, and his ability to just basically kick your ass all around that ring, and nobody's going to beat him. And I think that, I think that's all those specific promos were designed to do. Just basically say, I'm here, this is what I do, and this is how I'm going to do it. Run now! Yeah, no. So I think that, so I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, it's designed to make you run. So I like that. So that's so his promos were good. You know, I like them. You know, like I say, some people find them boring. I like them. They're giving you information. They're giving you feel intimidated. It's what you're supposed to be when his promos are on. And then all he does is comes out of the ring and does exactly what he says in his promos.
Yeah. So what do you want?
Yeah. What more do you want? You know, he delivers. That's the thing. So Elgin would then go on to double main event, the Slammiversary against Cage for the Impact World Title. So if I remember rightly, at that Slammiversary, we had Sami Callihan versus Tessa. That's when Tessa came out wearing all the gold, which was pretty cool. With a gold baseball bat and all that kind of stuff, which was quite cool. And then we had obviously we had the Elgin and Brian Cage, so the double main event Slammiversary matches. Now, this match, I thought, I think this particular match, Brian was clearly not 100%.
Yeah.
But they needed to continue his run, so they put him in with Michael. It was. I still think it was a little bit early, personally, and I understand. I know exactly why they've not put the belt on him yet. But bottom line is, it still was a good match, wasn't it? It was a very good main event.
It was a fantastic match, and it was one of the highlights of 2019. So Cage and Elgin, there you go. I've got it right this time. Because in a recent message, Scott them up about Sami Callihan coming back saying, "Oh fuck, we don't want this guy back." And I said to him, "No, Scott, look at what Sami Callihan said. You got moment of the year 2019, and then Brian Cage just said, no, that was me and Michael Elgin." So like to just rectify my misconception there. So Cage, if you're watching too, I do apologize again. So you don't have to drill claw me now, and Elgin, hopefully you don't have to give me a powerbomb. Although we can still flip a coin if you guys want.
I think you're right. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I think you're right.
Again, it was all about great in-ring storytelling and just the professional attitude that Michael Elgin has. He knew Brian Cage wasn't 100%, but he wasn't going to deliberately injure him. It wasn't like Seth Rollins and Sting, although the injury that Seth Rollins had given to Sting was accidental, but he went completely flat out from the start of the match and really, really didn't give Sting a chance to fight back. But Michael Elgin and Brian Cage, they went back and forth regardless of how fit Brian Cage was, and that's what you want to see. It made Brian Cage look like a strong champion, regardless of how bad everything was, and he still ended up a bit worse after the match, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that led to us, eventually not seeing Brian for quite some time. Obviously, we had the whole kind of like, should he drop the title, blah blah blah. I'm actually glad that they didn't do it that way, because that would have been really crap for Brian. He'd worked really hard. He came in at the start of 2017. He worked his butt off that whole time to eventually get there, to eventually have the strap on him, and then gets injured. I mean, that's got to be frustrating as hell.
It's gutting for him.
I think it also showed the faith that the company had in him as well. Which was nice. And I am hoping that he re-signs. I must admit, I am hoping that he re-signs because I think that he's still got a lot to offer.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, he's a good strong big man. We need a couple more of them. That's for sure. Plus, I missed the
yeah. We need the clap. We need the clap, and we need the machine. No, the age of Cage isn't over yet. So Brian, if you're listening, the door's always open for you to come back at some point, regardless. So
it would be. I'd definitely pop if you did. I definitely would pop. But getting back to the Unbreakable, Big Mike or Elgin. I think obviously Cage was injured, and I think Michael, being the 16-year veterinary professional he is, looked after Brian in that match. So he was probably the perfect person to have in that main event with Brian at that time, because he would. We knew that no matter what happened, Michael would be the professional and look after him. Regardless of anything, obviously he went on, whatever happened, happened. He's gone on, ended up becoming injured, gone on the sideline, whatever. we got lots of really cool promos, basically from Michael talking about Cage not being much of a machine, being on the injured list and all that kind of stuff.
Demanding the title for himself.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly, not much of a machine if he can keep getting injured the way he is, that type of stuff. Now, I thought that was, again, perfect heel move. Take the guy and just totally, drop him to the floor with your words. Did a great job on that. So obviously, he lost the title to Cage. Cage then went on the injury list, blah, blah, blah. But he went on to attack Cage after the match, which was then when we saw the gore from Rhino. And we heard it on the commentary. Gore! Gore! Gore!
Was that
good?
That was very good.
Was it good? I like it.
Oh yeah.
So, and we got to see the introduction of the big man, which was great. So obviously, this then ignited a short feud between him and Rhino. We got to see. I think again, that was a good way of doing it. I think introducing Rhino back in. Obviously, and Michael inevitably, wins.
Yeah.
With the guys, he had to. Sorry, Joe.
A good thing about it was Rhino's reason for coming back to Impact was similar to Michael Elgin's reason for coming into Impact. Rhino had spent a long time, like everyone knows, basically sat on his ass doing nothing at WWE, and it was just pissing him off. And Michael Elgin was at New Japan waiting for an opportunity to go a step further, and it just wasn't happening for him. So both of them had a very, very similar reason for coming over to Impact. So it put the company over perfectly, and it put them over perfectly, so that they're not willing to just sit back and wait for opportunities. They're willing to go there and make the opportunity for themselves, which I think fantastic.
From Rhino's point of view, at the end of the day, I think he felt he still had a little bit to offer, and I think it was time. I think he felt it was time for him to start giving some of the young guys, up and coming young guys, a bit of a rub, right? He's not come into Impact Wrestling to win a title. That's not what he's there for. He's come in to wrestle. Yeah, he's there to wrestle. He's there to be part of the story, to help promote, help elevate the promotion and help elevate the young talent. I think he's doing a good job. Michael being one of those young talents. I mean, Michael's 33 years old. He may have been, a 16. He may be a 16-year vet, but he's still only 33 years old. He's in his prime, right?
Definitely. There's there's no dispute in that at all. Rhino is one of the perfect guys to give people that momentum. Like, then you've got to look at Rhino and Musa going now. There we go. I've just pretty much made my point, really. So I'll stop there. My mind's wandering a bit. You have to bear with me.
You're getting tongue-tied, son. You're going back into the void. Yeah. So, teetering in between the void and reality. Is that what's going on here? We're sort of like slap bang in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's because we had Sammy Callahan come up on Wednesday on the channel, and reality's still a bit lost.
Still a little bit lost in reality, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, so obviously we had that. But I mean, we've had probably. I wouldn't say that every single match that Michael's had has been 5-star. A lot of people say that it's 5-star every match. Michael Elgin guaranteed 5 stars. I would say that we've not had less than probably 4. Maybe his matches, Rhino, etc. They weren't quite 5-star matches, but because Rhino at the end of the day is not the Rhino he was 20 years ago. But I think if we had a Michael Elgin versus Rhino from WCW or whatever, Jesus Christ, what a match that would have been. Because
there'd be no ring left.
Oh, Rhino was all about power, wasn't he? He was a powerful son of a bitch. That oh my god, yeah. You know, some of the stuff from him from years gone by has been incredible. I think it was a good solid. I mean, the stuff that we had with Ryan was good solid stuff. You know, but you're right. You know, we do tend to see nothing less than a 4-star match from the big man, right?
Definitely. He's like Rich Swann. He'll just put on a show, and it's very, very hard to fault it.
Yeah. I mean, talking about Rich Swann, let's go into the. I think it was it 6? There was like a number 1 contender match, like I think it was 6 of them that went in on the match.
Yes.
It was like some sort of gauntlet match, wasn't it? Was it 6-man gauntlet match? Something like that?
Six-man gauntlet, and Rich Swann was there for like number 2.
Oh yeah, they basically elevated Rich Swann to the fucking moon. That match,
Yeah.
that literally did. And I think Michael Elgin had a real big part in that, didn't he? Because I think that the by the time Michael Elgin had finished with Rich Swann, Moose had a bit of a probably quite an easy. I think was it Moose? It was Moose that eliminated him, wasn't it?
No, it was Brian Cage. Rich Swann had eliminated. Rich Swann beat Moose, and Michael Elgin came out, and they spent nearly well over 20 minutes battering the shit out of each other.
Oh, it was insane.
Rich Swann had gone through that match for at least 35 minutes, and Michael Elgin and Swann just beat the shit out of each other, and you could see Michael Elgin getting more and more frustrated, and then he got himself disqualified in the end. Yeah,
so
it was
brilliant. I mean, that could have been another moment where he ended up number 1 contender. We all know that wasn't going to happen because obviously it's Tessa's fight. So obviously they were building up. They were building right up to Tessa's win. So, I mean, you know, bottom line is, at the end of the day, that was one hell of a match, though. I mean, you know, Mike came in. He absolutely destroyed Rich Swann for, like you say, a good 10 minutes or so, good 10, 15 minutes. He destroyed him. Blood coming out of Swift's mouth. Oh, my God. There was all sorts going on in that moment in time. But it took, you know, basically Michael to get himself disqualified for Rich to carry on, you know, against Brian Cage. And again, you know, Brian, it took him several power bombs and God knows what else before he eventually eliminated Rich. Of course, at that moment in time, he'd been softened up. You know, Brian had been softened up quite a lot then for Tessa to come in and deliver the Magnum, and then obviously win that match. Now, but again, you know, it showed that the frustration when Michael is at full force and he's absolutely laying a beat down to somebody, you know, at that moment he did get a bit frustrated, didn't he? I mean, I know it's a bit of storytelling, but he got frustrated at that moment. Yeah, himself disqualified. He lost his temper, didn't he?
Yeah. He had that match with Marufuji, Bound for Glory, and you know, he came off of that on a high, and then he had to go through Rhino, and then get held back by Rich Swann, Brian Cage, Moose. So you can see Michael Elgin was getting really, really frustrated that, you know, I've just beat Marufuji, I've just beat Rhino, I should be the guy at the top now. I should be the one going after Sami Callihan.
Yeah. Why am I even doing this? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
frustration. That Marufuji match. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just going back. That Marufuji match, that was a 5-star match. Bound for Glory, 5-star match all day long.
Yeah, that's been one of my favorite matches from Michael Elgin.
Oh, just an outrageous match. It was just incredible. And that was what you class pure strong style from both of those wrestlers. That's why Marufuji was brought in, I think. You know, again, to make Michael look like an absolute animal, right? Make him look like a beast, an absolute strong style beast that could do, you know, he's taken on some of the best that Japan's got to offer. And here is a guy that he's never fought. Here's his opportunity to do it on the biggest stage. And what a match it was. Marufuji was just as badass, wasn't he?
Yeah. The way Michael Elgin called him out was fantastic. It was very, very unexpected as well. He just flattened everybody, and then you didn't know what the setup was until Michael Elgin put it out in black and white. He's been wanting to fight Marufuji at New Japan for a while, or wherever they were before, and it just never happened.
Yeah,
it just never happened. And Michael Elgin
problem is you've got. I mean, Marufuji's a legend, but he's with Pro Wrestling Noah. You've got obviously Michael with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, Marufuji's wrestled at New Japan. He's wrestled at All Japan and he's wrestled at all the big promotions in Japan, and now he's with Noah. But of course, once Michael's got that exclusive deal to the only Japanese promotion he's going to work for is New Japan Pro Wrestling, he never got the opportunity to face Marufuji. I think Marufuji was probably on his hit list. So when obviously he's come over to Impact, well, hang on a minute, he's probably saying, look, Don, Marufuji's in Noah. He's a guy, like, he's on my tick list. He's on my bucket list of Japanese wrestlers. Can we get the man in?
Don't make me hit you.
Yeah, don't make me powerbomb you. So I think that's what happened there. And at the end of the day, he came in, and there was a few people who were like, oh, that you've just brought Marufuji in for the sake of it, blah blah blah. Just trying to keep Noah happy or whatever. But I think that the bottom line is it was one of the matches. Well, it probably was the match of the night for a Puritan wrestling fan. Do you think?
Yeah, it was one of my favourites. It was. I didn't expect it to be a flop or disappointment, but from if you want to just a core wrestling standpoint, it overtook Sammy Callahan and Tessa Blanchard's main event. Because I think they had another match or something as well at Bound for Glory. To see him execute the Burning Hammer on Marufuji, that's one of my favorite finishes. I've not seen it for a long time. To see Michael Elgin deliver that and really, really rub it into Marufuji. That I can do this just as well as you can, and I know Michael Elgin's not one for like nicking finishes, but when he wants to make a statement, he'll make a statement, and I'd love to see him drop the Burning Hammer once or twice more, but I know it's a pretty high risk move, because otherwise you'd see him do torture racks and stuff. Otherwise, if he could.
I think you need. I think it's not about the executioner. It's more about the person taking it. I think you have to really.
Yeah.
I think you have to know exactly how to take that kind of move.
It's like the Tombstone Power Driver.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to 100% know how to take it. So I think that. Like I said, I think that was just one of the best matches, probably the best match of the year. In reality, it was an incredible match. And certainly one of my favourites of the year, and one of, like you say, probably it's your favourite Michael Elgin match so far. It's definitely one of mine. However, my favourite match is actually going to. We'll get to that in a second. But bottom line is, at the end of the day, incredible match. Another 5-star pay-per-view match from Michael Elgin. He never fails to deliver. Every time he goes in the ring, he gives you exactly, what you want to see if you're a Puritan wrestling fan. However, even if you're not a Puritan wrestling fan, once that story gets going, you cannot fail but to admire what's going on in that ring.
The fans are going mad at the end of the match. They were so engrossed in it. It was just amazing.
And that's the thing. Yes, is he the best promo person? No, he's not the best promo person, but he's good enough. And I don't know. I think we'll start to see more and more of him moving on when it comes over the course of time. There's going to be a little bit more of that, but we'll get to that in a second, where we talk about his slight change in his approach. Coming up, goes very slight. But you at the end of the day, the guy delivers every single time he hits the ring. So we got through to all of that. Marufuji doing the rhinos, we're sort of kind of like we've got through the gauntlet match, which has obviously ended up with Tessa winning to take her through into Bound for Glory or whatever it was she was doing at that time. Was it that Bound for Glory one? I get mixed up on my timeline.
She won that match and went through to Homecoming.
That's right. That's right. So, and I know a lot of people actually in that match were like, oh, that's so unrealistic. There's no way Tessa would have beaten Brian Cage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, well, actually, it's probably the most realistic you're going to get, because the reality is, at that moment, she's not taking on 100% Brian Cage, is she? Because, Brian Cage has already been in a bit of a battle, leading up to Tessa coming in. So actually, he's not 100%, is he? He's probably at 50, 60%.
Yeah, the way she the sunset flip that she managed to pull off on a guy as big as Brian Cage, it would take him out completely out of his game, because if you're from a storytelling perspective, it's just something you wouldn't expect someone that small to do to someone that big. So to have that move finish the match instead of a signature move, I thought worked a lot better. And it's the way you build up smaller wrestlers. You don't have them deliver the big power moves to beat the big people. You have them out wrestle them. Kiera Hogan's another example. Whenever she's beaten Taya Valkyrie, you beat them with like old school wrestling moves like roll ups and things like that, to really take everybody off their game.
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, I get what you're saying, definitely. So obviously from all of that, we sort of kind of start to move into the territories of Eddie Edwards, don't we?
Yes.
Now,
Timmy.
A lot of people are like, yeah, Timmy. A lot of people are sort of kind of like saying they were, after the initial 3 matches that they had, that they were getting a bit bored. He keeps showing us the same thing, blah, blah, blah. However, I have to say, being someone who's been in attendance on a couple of Eddie Edwards matches, Eddie and Michael Elgin matches at the New York tapings, they were amazing.
I never got bored.
They were amazing. I just remember being completely in awe of what I was watching. Some of the best stuff, some of the most amazing storytelling, some of the most hard-hitting stuff that I've seen ever. They actually, without any shadow of a doubt, 100% look like they are beating the crap out of each other. Right? Honest to God. It looks good on TV, right? It does. It looks good on TV. But when you're there in the front row, right, and the sweat's flying everywhere and the spit's flying everywhere, and you hear the slaps on the chest, and you're seeing those big badass forearms hitting each other in the chops, and those incredible power moves that are being performed by both of them. I mean, I have to say that Eddie was taking most of the beating, because Michael was just so dominating in most of the time. He was very dominating. It's just basically a case of the old Rocky saying, how much can you get hit but keep getting up and keep moving forward, right? And I think that's kind of like, that's Eddie all over. You could keep hitting me, but I'm going to keep moving forward, and you're going to have to keep hitting me because I'm not stopping.
And it brought back that technical side of Eddie Edwards that everyone wanted again. It was the best way to change Eddie Edwards' style again.
Yeah, no, I agree. And both of them are contenders for a world championship. Like, I wouldn't give a monkeys who wins that now. Like, I'd like to see the strap on Michael, but I'd love to see it on Eddie also, because at the end of the day, Eddie, has been with this company now for so long. He's had a run. He's already been a world champion. He's already been a tag team world champion. But the amount of work that he puts in to this company, I would love to see the strap back on Eddie again. I think he very much deserves it. I think if he did, you would get the you know, you deserve it chants everywhere, like, because he definitely deserved it.
Yeah, if Eddie Edwards or Michael Elgin win the title next, it would also bring Moose back up into the picture as well.
Yeah, without doubt. And we'll start to see the big powerhouse, you know, wrestlers again, sort of kind of dominate for a little while. But I think you know, without doubt, the 3 series of matches that they had, you know, people were moaning, "Oh, you're giving us the pay-per-view match too early," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I disagree, because they gave it even more at the pay-per-views, you know. So you know, you think that you've seen it all. Well, you know, think kind of thing. And I think that you know, by the time we got to the best of 5 series, which has been obviously recently been going on up until a couple of weeks ago, actually a couple of weeks ago as of the taping of this episode, but by the time this one goes out, it'll be about a month or so ago now. But you know, I mean, bottom line is that, you know, those 5 matches were incredible. They were incredible. You know, top to bottom. I'm like, you know, you literally look at the matches for next week. Oh, Michael Elgin, Eddie. Well, I'm not missing that. You know, and I you know, that's exactly what you were thought when you were looking at it, wasn't it?
The finishes weren't predictable as well. They always ended differently, and they were always back and forth. It was, again, but just the perfect in-ring storytelling that Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards can put across, and not many people can do that. You got the technical side, you got the really, really nitty-gritty hardcore side outside the ring, and you just got everything you could really want, and people are just a bit prejudgmental or expect too much or too little because it's the same guys over and over again. But I loved the whole best of 5 series, and I enjoyed all 3 matches that they had beforehand. And Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards had a match against each other. I think it was at Bash of the Brewery or something the year before. So I've seen Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards what they thought they could do. And when they started fighting it up again in December, I knew this was going to lead to a future world title contendership between one of the 2.
Yeah,
it was just in the back of my mind. So at least something was in my mind. It was in the back of my mind that one of these 2 is going to be the next one to go for the title. If Sammy had won it, if Esther had won it, they were next in line, and it was the right way to go for both of them. And how they finished the best of 5 was, I think, it was shocking. I thought Eddie Edwards just won it clearly, and they would leave it at that. But to say that he tapped out as soon as the hand went down at the 3, so they really brought the controversy up perfectly. It was like the Rock and the Big Show at the Royal Rumble all over again. Yeah,
the fact, I mean, I thought that they were, at that moment, I didn't expect Tessa to come out. I thought what they were going to do was turn around and say, okay, well, it's a draw. We need another match.
Yeah.
So they were going to say, right, we'll have one more decider match. And whoever wins that one is it. You know, that's it. Yeah. You're the best.
Last man standing or something like that instead.
Exactly, yeah. Some sort of last man standing, maybe a match at Lockdown or something along those sort of lines. I don't know. But, you know, then Tessa comes out, which was a complete shock. He said, well, you know, you guys have just beat the shit out of each other. You're clearly desperate to win this title. So I'll take both of you on.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah, I'm up for it. It's not a big deal. I'm down with that shit. And then, obviously, you know, Michael's not too impressed with that. I mean, I think Eddie couldn't give a monkeys. He's quite happy. He's like, as long as he gets a title shot, he's happy. Let's go for it, man.
As long as Timmy's safe.
Exactly. So then, of course, this is what I was talking about. So after that, obviously that's happened. Mike's not the big man is not happy. You know what I mean? He's not happy about all of this. I don't think Eddie's just like, yeah, well, whatever. Let's do it, you know? Yeah. But Mike is like, you've just taken away my one-on-one shot. Right? You've just completely taken that away from me. I just wanted my title shot against the world champion. Done. Right? So now we've got this 3-way. He's not happy about it. So we start to see a slight change in Michael's promos. Now, I don't know whether you've noticed it.
Yeah, I have. I've sorry, you continue, and I'll chip in afterwards.
Yeah, but what we've seen is this kind of slight change in this. You know, normally your promo is basically, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do in the ring, run attitude, which we talked about earlier, right? Now his promos seem to be a little bit more manipulative. Do you agree?
Yeah, that they're getting a lot more aggressive and a lot more personal, and the use of lighting they're doing now as well to really up the tension and up the ante and everything is working out in Michael Elgin's favour too.
See, for me, it became very clear that he was changing his tactics slightly when he went and spoke to the North.
Yeah.
Because that was what he was doing, was he was trying to manipulate them, wasn't he? He was trying to fire them up to go in there and kick some ass, kind of thing.
Yeah. He'd had them as his backup for lockdown, and I would have loved to have seen that the lockdown match go ahead with Michael Elgin the North and Taya Valkyrie versus Eddie Edwards. Dagger, I think it was, he picked Tessa Blanchard and someone else. But you know, to keep the North working for Michael Elgin on the build up to the match, even though the match hasn't gone ahead, you know, because the tapings are before everything. But they're keeping the North versus Eddie Edwards and Tessa Blanchard going now, and it's turning out in Michael Elgin's favour, because every time the match is over, he's coming out and he's knocking out both of them. And I saw the highlights of this week's episode, and Tessa Blanchard just you know, let her ego get in the way of winning. And after the match, Eddie Edwards walks off and just leaves it to the wolves, ironically.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, screw you then. I've tried. I'm trying to be a friend. I'm trying to help you out. Whatever I've tried. But she's obviously not willing to trust Eddie, because at the end of the day, and rightly so, you know, Eddie's got his eyes on her title, right?
Yeah. So again, it's bringing back that ego that Tessa Blanchard had beforehand when she became Knockouts champion. So that's a good move for Tessa Blanchard as well. I mean, it's going to play out in Michael Elgin's favour, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we're looking for. But I think what we're starting to see now, and this is what we were talking about, what we had when it comes to promos for the big man previously, is very much kind of Michael on his own. He does his promo, and that's the end of it, kind of thing. Now, we're still seeing some of those. Like, we did see a promo where it was literally just his face. I thought that was a really cool promo, where it was literally just his, that's all you saw was his face, and he's talking away. I thought that was a good promo. But then we're seeing this sort of kind of, now we're seeing him sort of kind of inject himself into other things, and sort of kind of trying to be a little bit more manipulative behind the scenes, to then, you know, unleash his plan of whatever it is he's going to do at the end of matches, or whether he's going to inject himself into other matches, or whatever it is he's going to be doing, to try and make himself look strong leading up to you know, his title match with Tessa and Eddie. So now, obviously, everything is a little bit interrupted at the moment with the whole, you know, coronavirus issues that we've got going on. So I'm not sure where or how the storylines are going to sort of kind of unfold. Do you have any thoughts on where you think Michael's going to go from here?
I think that they're going to try and do the rebellion. They're going to try and get rebellion done during this next set of tapings that are coming up. So hopefully we'll see Michael Elgin, Tessa, and Eddie Edwards face up against each other. And
what the outcome going to be?
I think either Eddie Edwards is going to knock Tessa Blanchard out, and Michael Elgin is going to knock Eddie Edwards out and pin him, or always going to pin Tessa Blanchard. But if Michael Elgin's going to win, I want him to pin the champion. not to disrespect Tessa Blanchard, but I think it sends a better statement that Michael Elgin, he's said he's not afraid to take out anybody. He's not afraid, and you've seen him plummet Tessa Blanchard and powerbomb us several times now. So you know he's not afraid of intergender wrestling. He's not going to play it down. So Michael Elgin. Sorry, carry on.
I think sometimes the important thing when you know, if it's in a three-way and you win the world title, it doesn't necessarily carry the same weight if you've not pinned the actual champion. Like if you're in a three-way or a four-way or whatever it is for the title and you pin someone that's not actually the title holder to win the title, because this is what they say, isn't it? At the end of the day, you don't have to pin the champion to win.
Yeah. Well,
so,
I think we see that a bit. We see that a bit too much. I think if you're going to beat, if we want to see Tessa lose the belt, and have someone pin Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, I agree. She has to be pinned because if she's not pinned, then obviously the storyline can continue in the sense that she's always going to have the rematch clause. That's always going to be there. But I think that. Bottom line is this, if you don't pin the champion, you're not classed as the true champion, right?
Definitely.
You got
to the point I was trying to get, in a single sentence.
Yeah. Bottom line is, to be the man, you've got to beat the man, right? And in this instant, the man, Tessa.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. I think that Tessa, as much as I think it's been a fantastic thing to have Tessa as champion, I've really enjoyed it. She needs to continue being a strong face of the brand. And I do like the whole, wrestling is wrestling type scenario. But I do think it's time that, the title was held by someone like Eddie or Michael or Moose, maybe.
Yeah.
To then take that title forward. I'm not saying that, a female holding the world, the Impact World title, it degrades it, because it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But I think for the brand, based on the amount of bigots and God knows what else that are out there, they just don't seem to understand what they're trying to do. It's not a slight on male wrestling, and it's not about trying to over promote. It's just saying that at the end of the day, anyone can be the world champion. It doesn't matter whether you're male, female, black, white, Oriental. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you are a master of your craft. And face the facts, Tessa Blanchard is a master of her craft.
Definitely.
As is the big man, Big Mike. He is an absolute master of his craft. So someone like Michael, and I like I said before, I want to see the strap on Big Mike. When it happens, I don't care. I want to see the strap on Big Mike, but I'd also like to see the strap on Eddie, because I think Eddie is an incredible ambassador for Impact Wrestling. He's incredible talent. He clearly has the respect of the entire roster. So, you're talking about a guy that deserves to carry that strap, even if it's, just for 6 months or just 3 months until, Michael comes along and takes it off him.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, and of course, if Michael takes the strap off Eddie, again, that again gives that, that nod of to Michael taking it off someone of the caliber of Eddie, right?
Yeah, Sammy Callahan said it in a recent interview that Eddie Edwards is like the guy you go to in the locker room, and but if you piss him off, he will lash out. But Eddie Edwards is the most respected guy in the locker room. So if Eddie Edwards was to be the next world champion, it would him and Michael Elgin could do a hell of a lot more than Michael Elgin and Tessa Blanchard, and that's the flip side of where this triple threat could go. If Michael Elgin or Eddie Edwards continue their rivalry regardless who wins, but if Eddie Edwards had the belt, the rivalry between Michael Elgin would be really, really heated then, because Michael Elgin's missed his shots, and
Yeah.
who knows where it could go. It could go into a cage match. It could go to, if they want to try it again, King of the Mountain. It could go anywhere, and the opportunity is endless.
I think one thing that's for sure is whatever we get leading forward, once all of this is done, what we get leading forward is going to be exciting. And I think the Unbreakable Michael Elgin is going to be a very big part of Impact Wrestling for a long time to come.
I hope so too.
I
don't see him leaving anytime soon.
No, I mean, I don't know how many years he's signed for, but the fact that they are taking their time to slow build him up, to sort of like create him into the, hopefully, the ultimate champion. I'm assuming that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm seeing it. Same as they're doing with Moose.
Yeah.
You know, giving him some early opportunities. But at the end of the day, at that time, he probably wasn't ready for it.
No,
building him up.
He's ready for it now, and you can tell he's ready for it now.
Yeah, exactly. So now what they've got is they've got 3, possibly 4 guys with Sammy, if you include Sammy in there. So you've got Sammy, you've got Eddie, you've got Michael, and you've got Moose. So you've got 4 main event potential world champions chomping at the bit to be a world champion, right?
Definitely.
So where is it going to go? Who's it going to end up on? Like I said, my top two choices, even though I am the biggest Sami Callihan mark in the world, my 2 choices for a world championship gold is Eddie or Michael, and I would be over the moon to see it on either of them. I'm going to wish the big man all the luck in the world. I think he's an amazing talent, and I certainly would not be disappointed when all this is said and done to see the big belt around the big man's waist. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree. Michael Elgin deserves it. Eddie Edwards deserves it. So the ball's in your court now, Scott.
Yeah. Who's it going to go on? Who is going to end up with the big strap? Who's going to be your big champion? We've got some exciting times ahead for all you Impact fans. We've got some seriously incredible storytelling. We've got some incredible wrestling ahead with some incredible wrestlers. Incredible wrestlers. I think incredible wrestlers is the word I was looking for on the Impact roster. I think once all this is done and dusted, we're going to see some incredible matches involving Eddie, Michael, Moose, Sami Callihan with his ICU thing going on. Eventually, at the end of the day, he is going to be coming. See, this is an interesting thing. I actually want to bring this in because this is literally just come into my head. That,
okay.
After Hard to Kill, Sammy was not mentioning the world title belt when he was talking about Tessa.
No.
He never mentioned the championship at all. All he mentioned was that he was going to get her, basically. She was not going to come in. He was coming for her, right? And she's not going to see it. She's not going to know when it is. She's not going to see it. He was coming for her. So I can see her obviously dropping the belt and then being a big feud for the world title belt between, like you say, your Mooses, your Eddies, your Michael Elgins, whoever. And then what we see is a side storyline whereby Sammy is plotting his revenge.
Yeah, or Sami Callihan could even come out and cost Tessa a bunch of the belts.
Yeah, which then leads to a feud.
Yeah,
between him and Tessa again. I'm finishing that feud off. I still think Sammy's still got to bring somebody in. There's still somebody coming in with Sammy.
There's got to be something.
There has to be. That's why he's shunning OVE. He's shunning OVE because he's got himself a new crew, right? We're all hoping possibly it's the Ascension. Let's hope so. I think that would be a cool twist to the story. Having the Ascension turn up with Sammy, that would be really cool. Obviously, they'd be called something else, but or part of the ICU faction or whatever. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, so I think it's time to wrap up. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes on someone that's been in the company since May, so not even quite a year yet, so 11 months. I think we've had a good discussion about the big man. So
it's been a joy, Mike.
It's been a really good show today. I've been really into it, and I'm really excited to see where Impact take Michael Elgin in the coming months, in the coming years. Yeah, it's going to be great. So, wrapping things up a little bit, Joe, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JOE-KER. You can have a gander for me on Facebook if you look for Joe O'Keefe, KWEFFE.
Yep.
Jump into a few Impact Wrestling groups. You'll probably see me on there. Jump into a few Impact groups and look for hashtags at the moment, like Kylie Ray, Rosemary. They're making headlines to me at the moment. You'll probably see a lot of posts on that from me for firing around there.
Definitely,
especially promoting the impacted content and the stuff we're doing here. So
yeah, I could not recommend enough following Joe. Certainly on Twitter, especially. He does love sharing all the news, all the views. He's got some interesting things to say from the void and the empty space of his mind. So he's definitely someone that's worth a follow. So get over on Twitter. Make sure that you follow Joe. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Bison 45. More than welcome to follow me. We've got, again, I try and share around as much Impact stuff as possible. I also do a lot of other promotions as well, and I'm always willing to talk about Impact Wrestling, especially. I do like, obviously, other wrestling, but don't talk to me about WWE. I mention that every single week. I'm not interested in that at all. But you can talk to me about Impact as much as you like, and a lot of the indie stuff. I do like a lot of the indie promotions as well. You can find me on YouTube as Jason Holt with an E. Sorry, not YouTube, on Facebook. Sorry, on Facebook as Jason Holt with an E. But I tend to do most of my wrestling persona stuff via Twitter. Now, I do want to just quickly thank ESO Personalized for sponsoring today's show. As always, your brand is their business. And so if you want to pop over to www.esopersonalized.co.uk, I'm sure they would love to hear from you. They got some great clothing over there, including these fantastic hats, which they sent over to me. I don't know whether you can get these particular impacted hats. However, they've sent them over to Joe and myself to wear during our podcast, which we're very grateful for. So thank you very much for that. I'd also like to mention, yeah, definitely. I'd also like to mention that we are available on YouTube as our main visual home via the Total Nonstop Impact Network, so or podcast network. So don't forget to head over, subscribe, smash the bell, smash the bell, and yeah, so you don't miss a listen or miss a watch on any of the content. Like I say, we've got the TNI Throwback Show, which comes out every Monday. The boys are now doing the live review directly after Impact airs on Access TV on a Tuesday. So don't forget to tune into that if you're in the US. Obviously, if you're in the UK and you haven't seen the show yet, you want to hold off a little bit so you don't get any spoilers. But again, if you want to tune in live, they'd love to interact with you guys on the comments. All your comments go up on the screen. It's really cool. Actually, it's a really cool thing to get involved in. So yeah, don't forget to follow them on Twitter at We Talk Impact. Also with J-Bone 5150 and Vanilla Joke is Trent. Oh, and of course, don't forget the scumbag Carl is now back.
Yes.
So yes. So at KL_TNI is Kyle. So if you want to follow him on Twitter, please do so.
Good to have you back, Kyle.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to have you back on the team. I've been missing your face, buddy. Been missing your face, and I'm glad to see that you're over the coronavirus. You know, so there's light at the end of the tunnel, guys. So don't forget, you know, when you're out there, stay safe, stay home, save lives. That's very, very important. Now, and of course, there's the Impacted recorded show on a Wednesday. Now that goes out at roughly 12 noon over in the US and 6 p.m. in the UK. It premieres. So don't forget to check us out every single Wednesday. You know, we love to see your comments, guys. Put your comments down below. Yeah, we do try and reply to them. We're interested to know what you think of the show. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like it. Give us a thumb down if you don't. Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you know, all feedback is definitely welcome. You know, and it helps the channel move forward. It helps the podcast get more recognized. So the more thumbs up, the more thumbs down, whichever we get, we don't care. Just let us know what you think. Give us some comments, and we'll happily reply. All that's left to say, my friend, all that's left to say is, I've been Bison.
I've been the Joker.
And this has been Impacted. Take care.
Take care.